Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to another episode of the Toonami Absolution Sessions. Today, we will be discussing why it is that Toonami has to be on Adult Swim and there's really no other option for it. And joining us today, we have Firecrouch,
Oh, yeah.
Duelist G,
Hey, how we doing?
Christopher Soul,
Yeah, boy.
and John Paul.
Give me all your pizza.
I wish I had pizza. And my name is Sketch. And really, I do wish I had pizza right now.
Me
And
too.
it is hot like the Dickens, so who even says that? It's hot. So we're going to try to do this real fast.
Yeah. This'll be a quick one, hopefully.
That's what she said.
Wiki.
And the tangents
Quick
begin.
shit right there.
Right, so lots of people are still asking why can't Cartoon Network play Toonami? Why isn't Cartoon Network playing Toonami? Why is Adult Swim doing it this time? And why are they only doing it for 6 hours a week and so late at night? What are your thoughts, Firecrouch?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is why not? I mean, basically the way it started was as an April Fool's joke on Adult Swim because I think I think it was Mike Lazo who had the idea of just
It was.
it was Mike Lazo, and it was a good idea to do this April Fool's joke because hey, the people that cared about Toonami and still care about Toonami are the people that are now the Adult Swim audience, or at least anyone that's younger in the Adult Swim audience would probably be at least aware of Toonami, and it happened. People liked it, and so why not have Adult Swim where the return started in the first place, where the gears were going, and also the obvious thing is that the audience for the kind of content that constitutes Toonami, which is the action anime that's been playing there, and Adult Swim action was in a way a spiritual offshoot of Toonami, even when Toonami was still on air. So it makes perfect sense. And Cartoon Network, as it is now, I mean, it could be doing better, but it's doing fine on the course. And I don't know if the management that specifically runs main Cartoon Network has a desire to run something like Toonami, nor is there they could run something like Toonami or a Toonami at all if they felt so inclined to. I assume they thought it would attract a crowd or liven up the programming and something they enjoy, but I don't think they're really necessarily motivated to. And Toonami is I don't know if I describe the return to Toonami as a passion project. I don't really describe it as something that will appease a different audience. It just works, and it doesn't seem to be a problem. The ratings seem pretty stable, save except for one particular show. And yeah, pretty much. And was there another question to go on with it? Because I feel like I pretty much covered it.
Why do you believe that Adult Swim is only airing Toonami late at night? It's
late at night.
Not trying it in prime time.
I don't think they have the means to right now. I mean, Adult Swim action was already playing from 12 a.m. to 6, so that's where it's starting right now. And I think they just need to see where it goes and if it can sustain ratings or grow if they want to expand it. Because right now, I don't know if the people up on top. I don't know if I wouldn't say they don't have faith in it, but I don't know if they see a point in giving it more hours at this time.
I don't want to say they don't have faith in it, but they don't have faith in it.
Yeah.
Adult Swim does, Turner doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if they want to move it earlier, it's going to have to prove that it's going to work. And, it's still in that early phase, really.
Yeah.
Agreed. What are your thoughts, Duelist?
Well, pretty much what everybody else is saying, that, regular Cartoon Network wasn't going to bring it back. Frankly, I'm happy, but still somewhat surprised that Adult Swim brought it back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, William Street really only controls Adult Swim anymore, as far as I know, and they, Jason DeMarco and the other people over there are the only ones that really seem to care about it coming back. So, I mean, I don't realistically see where else it could go. I mean, yeah, maybe it could eventually expand upon Adult Swim's own hours, but I don't think that's going to happen extremely soon necessarily, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what much more I could say than that, quite honestly.
Fair enough. What are your thoughts, John?
Sam pretty much covered most of what I would wanted to say, and it's kind of like, like I feel that like the only ones that probably would have gave it a chance are the people who are at Adult Swim right now, because as it stands with the current management at Cartoon Network, I don't think they really are too loving of anime unless it's like some crazy uh cash cow type of show that's meant to sell merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also like you said, that the audience is much older now, and it's the people that that grew up with Toonami in those like past like, well, what is it, over 12 years, growing up with that block, and it's it makes sense, like let's aim it at that audience. So
I think, if they were going to put a main Cartoon Network, it would be with the intention of, putting those types of anime or those types of action cartoons that are Toonami-esque, aiming it at new people, new exposure. And in order for someone to do that effectively, they have to be passionate themselves about the product or the service. And by being in that certain mindset, they'll know how to make it successful. They'll understand the audience, or the audience that doesn't exist yet, and how they can prove to the audience that they want to watch these types of shows. The current management may not necessarily have that kind of mindset.
yeah, and that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, like, there is absolutely nothing, we can do on our part, but, other than, we have to prove to Adult Swim, like people are actually watching this, and, maybe in hope that maybe sometime we might actually see anime at an earlier hour someday. But that's probably going to be a year off if Toonami is probably more than a year off if Toonami proves itself.
Maybe not even a year if they get pressure from Fox to take their Fox shows off of Saturday because of Fox's late night block coming in
Oh,
2013.
that's right. I keep forgetting about that.
But they could just as easily, well, they could probably keep playing King of the Hill because Fox doesn't care. But they could just as easily run some comedies there. Like, they're not getting rid of the Boondocks as long as it's doing well. On Saturday, I mean. What are your thoughts, Soul?
Well, for me, I mean, John and Duelist and Firecrouch kind of covered it to a certain degree. That, yeah, the people who actually care and are passionate about Toonami in general are at William Street. They always have been, because, William Street are the ones who ran Toonami in general. You look back at 2006, 2007, 2008, going into, of course, the Tom 4 era, but even in kind of the late 2000, I mean, the early 2006 era, even, I think the one big example in terms of how you can really genuinely tell Adult Swim and William Street actually cares about Toonami is just look at the bumps. See, from the past 3 or so weeks now, it's been consistently a different, like in terms of the clips that they show for the bumps, it's consistently been different clips of those shows that they've been airing. And added, we've been getting video game reviews. I don't want to say pretty regularly, but at least I guess you could say at least once a month we'll probably get a video game review. Um, Now, in terms of why I generally feel that Toonami itself belongs on Adult Swim, outside of the fact that the audience has kind of grown up with the block, and in terms of the brand itself, the only people who, of course, going to care about Toonami are the older audience that of course, grew up with it. Is in reality, yeah, like I said, it belongs on Adult Swim because Adult Swim action. Where did Tom? Where was Tom birthed? Basically, late night Saturday late nights. The original Midnight Run is where Tom one showed up. So it's just kind of really a real coming home for, if anything. And then, yeah, just the general content, I think, is a great reason in terms of why Adult Swim should, Toonami needs to be and stay on Adult Swim. There's not, there are certain shows and series that you could run and air in terms of anime anyway. There's certain shows you could run and air, kind of prime time, like, that if you say you put Toonami on Thursday nights or Friday nights or whatever, kind of leading up into Adult Swim or something like that, or even weekday afternoons, or even Saturday mornings. There's certain shows you could probably put on, but they're still going to be edited to, especially nowadays, in terms of the violence in some of the, in terms of certain anime aimed at that demographic, especially in terms of considering it here. But there's so much in terms of story and what anime aimed at the Adult Swim audience can be brought to the table and put on Toonami. So with that, I can't really think of a whole lot else to say outside of William Street. William Street cares. You would look, like I said earlier, I was trying to say about the bumps. You look at 2006, 2007. Those bumps didn't really change all that much outside of when a new show came on.
True.
And even with the animation of Tom and such, that stuff really didn't change all that much at all. So it seems that with William Street actually, Adult Swim and William Street running the show solely, they can put a bit more effort into the block in general than Cartoon Network kind of overseeing William Street's management of the block. Agreed. So I guess I've kind of rambled on too long there. So.
It's fine. My thoughts on this is we have William Street to thank for Toonami in the first place. Mike Lazo, the head of William Street, head of Adult Swim now, and as always, he hired Sean Atkins to rebrand the existing afternoon action block, either called Super Adventures or Power Zone at that point. I don't quite remember because I didn't have Cartoon Network back then, so I excuse myself from absolutely knowing that. That's one useless bit of knowledge I don't need to know. And let me stress, rebranded the existing action block. That sounds familiar.
Oh, yeah.
This time, Mike Lazo decided that they should do the Toonami. I'm not even going to call it a joke. I'm going to call it a stunt. They didn't do this out of spite, or they didn't do it to get a lark. They clearly did that with a certain level of appreciation for both the material and the people who would tune in for it. They knew that they were out there. They knew the Toonami fans were still out there, and they thought, hey, we usually taunt people with a pretty bad movie. Why don't we play a joke on the people who are expecting that movie and surprise the crap out of everyone else with Toonami? And that was simply awesome. And then they got really good response from it and decided, hey, maybe we could go to Turner and say, this could work for us. Can we do it? They didn't have to prove anything to the people at Adult Swim at William Street. What they had to prove, who they had to prove Toonami would work to, is the suits at Turner. And that's a completely different beast. Hopefully they're starting to see the value of Toonami over at Turner, as they certainly once did, but obviously eventually it just didn't matter to them anymore. And that's the thing. The current people that work at Cartoon Network are the same guys who got Toonami canceled. The same ones who pulled the plug. And I don't necessarily disagree with their decision at the time, but they're not going to bring it back, because what kind of message does that send to people who said, "Oh, Cartoon Network never should have canceled Toonami"? They basically admit that they made a mistake, and no network likes to do that. By having Adult Swim do it, they're kind of got a loophole there. Or maybe they just don't care, and Adult Swim just pushed really hard for it. I'm not going to say everyone over at Adult Swim is really behind this Toonami project. There's people who used to work for Toonami that are currently working on it, including DeMarco and Gil, and probably a decent amount of people that used to make the Toonami package and such. There's certainly people at William Street that probably don't care, or either indifferent or don't even like anime. But you can tell by the amount of effort going into this project that the people that are working on Toonami really want it to work, and they want it to be a worthwhile experience. As Soul said, if you compare it to essentially the dying days of Toonami, there's a lot more effort going into the bumps. Now, I will say that they don't have a whole lot of animation, but that's because that stuff's freaking expensive. So they're using a greater variety of show clips, as that's how they're showing effort. They're picking through pretty decent clips. And I don't know if anybody remembers this, but in 2007, they literally used maybe 2 clips per show on all of those bumpers. I
Oh yeah,
constantly remember seeing Sanji smashing Luffy, Usopp, and Karu's heads together for every
right.
One Piece break. And almost every Naruto break was Naruto punching Gaara or something like that.
Yeah, and let's not forget they never really even used any of the Funimation dub
No, they
once
never
that
used
came
any of the
around.
Funimation dub, not even in the promos, which totally ticked me off. But
Oh, but can I interrupt real quick, Sketch? I mean, even with with the bumps and the animation in general, we're slowly but steadily getting new animation for Tom. They
mm-hmm.
genuinely do care, and people need to see that.
I'm actually wondering if the fact that they're able to, slowly add more new animation, new kind of bumpers, is a sign that it's steadily doing healthy.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. I mean, the ratings aren't showing that it's doing fantastic, but you can tell from watching the advertisements airing compared to the advertisements that were running during Adult Swim Action. There's clearly people buying into the brand, and that's what's going to make them money.
Yeah, and it's also I'm wondering. I mean, are there ads playing on outside of Saturday nights at a reasonable
There
frequency?
are ads for Toonami running outside of Saturday night. I don't regularly watch Adult Swim, but
Yeah, it's usually on Thursday nights when they do run the Toonami's Back Bitches promo, the lineup promo. I know last week we didn't really see it. The only time we actually saw
yeah,
it was
because they
like
were
the
heavily
first.
pushing Black Dynamite.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we might hopefully see it again this Thursday. So keep
Yeah.
your fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been making something new every single week. That's remarkable.
Yeah,
They certainly
that's
weren't
part of
doing
the
that back in the day.
that's part of the thing that really annoys me about anyone saying they don't care. Because legitimately, we could be watching a block right now that had just reused those Tom 3 stuff that we saw on April 1st, and we could be getting nothing but the bumpers and maybe not even promos or anything. but they're legitimately putting effort into this.
People saying that Tom has been cut down to just being a show transition. That's ridiculous. They're doing
music
reviews,
videos.
they're doing speeches. How is that just a
Music
show
videos.
transition? Personally, I like that they're doing a show transition. They used to do that, I think, when Tom 3 first started. They kind of didn't do it after that.
Yeah.
There's clearly effort going into this, and whether or not everybody at William Street or everybody at Turner cares about Toonami, cares about anime, cares about whatever, there's clearly effort going into this, and there's clearly people working there that want it to succeed and want to do a good job. And they're showing it through their actions.
I will say on another note that I would be surprised if there's not like maybe 1, 2, 3 new shows later this year or early next year. And if they can promote those shows decently enough and the content's there, that it would be something that has fan demand or something that can not have fan demand, like something past fan demand that will attract.
You mean like actually go on? Sorry.
I mean, not necessarily something entirely new, but something that's fresh and can appeal to a broad audience. Like I don't know, like I mean, everyone's saying Pan and Stocking, Tiger and Bunny. That's just like any example like that. Just anything like that. If they can push that out, like at a new season and market it fresh, because like this new Toonami, it's not like it didn't come out of nowhere, but it came out pretty fast. And they have time to prepare for that, bring it out, knock people's socks off. That could like maybe push the awareness in the brand and not necessarily, make the ratings boom, but it can slowly put it on a path that hey, it could expand somewhere. We'll have to see.
This isn't a sprint; it's a marathon.
Yeah,
it's a marathon.
So as long as the block itself can continue to sustain itself and then further grow, be it with content. I mean, like Firecrouch mentioned, I mean, hopefully with shows like Tiger Bunny, Panty and Stocking, later on down the road with stuff like the Chico and Hachin, as well as maybe the Future Diaries. And there is, and I think some people are like, well, are they not going to air? We want we want Naruto, we want One Piece. No. There is other anime besides that, guys, and there is newer, fresher stuff out there. And William Street has always been known to really kind of pick up that really good stuff. Sometimes they don't pick up great stuff, but they usually pick up really good stuff.
So, yeah. What the hard stuff is picking up great stuff that's not necessarily going to get great ratings, and that's that happens every once in a while throughout the Adult Swim action and Toonami history.
Yeah, Toonami's history itself. So yeah.
And I think in order to get, I mean, I've said this before, I'll say this again. I wouldn't expect to see those bigger, more popular series until Toonami gets to a point where it's, more it starts at 9 or something like that.
Yeah, like.
Those two things are going to go hand in hand, I'm pretty sure. Because there's no reason to get those earlier hours without mainstream successful shows to play.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get those mainstream successful shows unless you get more hours. So
like I know Sketch had mentioned it like in one of the previous episodes. I mean, expand to 9 o'clock, then throw on Dragon Ball Z, throw on Naruto Shippuden, and throw on One Piece. And then I'd say bookend it with Bleach at like 11:30, and then midnight you'd have your real key, really the meat of Toonami after that.
Your midnight run shows.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That'd be cool.
So getting back to why Cartoon Network is going to do this, would you really trust Cartoon Network with Toonami anymore? I know I wouldn't. They're really notoriously bad at promoting their action shows these days. They only play action on weekend mornings and weekday mornings. The premieres are on Saturday mornings, except for Ninja Go, which somehow manages to get prime time. And we'll never understand that. Oh, right. Lego probably pays them. There's just not enough love towards... If you think Adult Swim doesn't love anime... then Cartoon Network even more so. all they play are the toyetic shows ever since they got rid of Naruto.
Yeah, and their great recent acquisition is another toy store
Scantic
show.
Yeah, and then even Sketch, you said, I rarely even see commercials for DC Nation anymore.
I know,
It's
it's
like during the
ridiculous. DC Nation seemed like it was going to be really good synergy between Cartoon Network and Warner for the first time like ever, and ultimately it seems kind of brushed off to the side, and that's really disappointing. It should be in prime time, or it should encore in prime time at least, and they should be pushing it more than they do, and that's very disappointing to me. So I wouldn't trust them with Toonami, quite frankly. And if
Mm.
as much as I would like to see the likes of Young Justice and Green Lantern and the new Thundercats, even Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and even Ben 10 on Toonami, nah, leave it to Adult Swim. They'll treat it a lot better. And so far, I think they're doing an admirable job with what they have. Nobody else was going to do this for you. If you don't understand that, then you're not paying attention. And no, they're not some great savior because they brought back Toonami. It's supply and demand. And if you don't think they're meeting the demands well enough, that's fair, but try to curb your expectations because, you know, why do you expect so much of them? They're not doing this out of charity. They can't do it out of charity. They're a business. And ultimately, whether or not they like anime isn't a big part of their business. And it's not their job to shoulder the burden of helping out the anime community. It's not their job. I don't know why people act like it is just because they're one of the few that still play anime. Just be glad for what you have and look forward to the future, is my best advice. And since we kind of dabbled on the concept of does Adult Swim actually hate anime? I Anybody else want to chime in on that?
They
yeah,
don't hate anime.
They
no,
don't.
no, they don't. If they hated anime, they wouldn't be playing it. They wouldn't still be playing it. They wouldn't have been playing it for the last couple of years when the anime industry was starting to be on its last leg, and the ratings were really shitty. They still continued to play anime. Mike Lazo, I think, even still, as much as way back in the day on the Adult Swim message boards and so forth, you could say, "Oh, Mike Lazo hates anime." No, no, no. And Mike Lazo, Kim Manning, Jason DeMarco, all those guys. Everybody there at William Street. I think there's a certain group within William Street that generally still likes and appreciates and loves anime to a certain degree where they're going to keep it around regardless of the ratings because they like it and they feel maybe I don't think they like Sketch said I don't know they don't think they're really helping out the anime industry, but I think in terms of just exposure to anime in general, I think they've always done an admirable job in terms of just showcasing some of the best, Japanese animation has to offer. Fooly Cooly, Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, Full Metal Alchemist, both Full Metal Alchemist series. And then now, Casher in terms of the animation, it's great animation. Dead Man, that's probably some of their most edgy stuff. So they're showing some darker, harder edge stuff. So regardless, Adult Swim likes anime. You might not believe it, but they do.
What people don't
Even
understand is actions speak louder, much louder than words. So when Adult Swim says stuff in their promos like the home of anime, even though we don't like it, or nobody likes cartoons, especially anime, they learn to take a joke. I
Exactly.
can't defend them
Yeah.
beyond I won't defend them to much of an extent because I don't think it's the best way to talk to their audience and pick on anime fans. But it's still, they're still playing it, and they've never really said anything that offensive.
You know, if I recall, they made all kinds of Inuyasha jokes back when it was new, and nobody really had that much of an issue with it then.
Besides
That's
Inuyasha
because
fans, but
Inuyasha, and that's where the rabbit Inuyasha, the riff title came
yeah,
from.
yeah.
Yeah.
It, and I blame Inuyasha fans for giving them such a hard time, and that's kind of where the attitude towards anime fandom got soured on them. But
I mean, heck, you know, they like anime enough that they've made all those like robot chicken,
that's true.
various
They
parodies.
That is absolutely true. And William
I mean,
Street, well, Turner foot the bill for the second season of the Big O, and William Street loves that show to death. So
Yeah.
come on, can
Don't
you
they have
not
like a
see
huge?
what's in front of you? Are you so blinded by your pettiness that you can't see that they're still airing anime and they're not doing so reluctantly? You are a lousy fan if you can't appreciate that Adult Swim isn't doing this because it gets good ratings. Everything else they do is because it gets good ratings. And you can say, oh, well, anime can get good ratings, or anime does get good ratings. It's just the Nielsen's report it wrong. Are you kidding me? Stop blaming everyone else for your problems. You're ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous to blame the system that everything is ranked by to being skewed towards other programming. Consider that not everybody likes Japanese cartoons. It's a niche industry. It's always been a niche industry, even when it was at its peak and Dragon Ball Z supposedly beat The Simpsons. It was still
My
niche then.
my philosophy is, it's usually a case by case basis, and the case by case basis that the vast majority of anime is niche, and you'll get a few shows here and there that break out of that niche, like Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, basically.
and even Naruto to a certain degree. But even with, I think, Naruto, Sailor Moon, and Pokemon, a lot of people didn't even know that was anime. So, what are you gonna say?
Actually, Naruto can. I mean, on another note, Naruto actually beat Viz's expectations, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I mean, there's just certain the anime that are like breaking in the mainstream are the ones that introduce people to anime, get them into other more niche anime, and then there are just people that only watch those certain anime. That's just how it is, and I think people, I think the industry and people and fans alike may have a couple of years ago misunderstood that, and thought anime was bigger than it was, and then maybe when it died down, they thought anime was dead. But I think all along we should have, or we as fans and as people that are aware of anime should have just had said, hey, these are just shows that have an audience, and some shows have different types of audiences, different types of demographics, and it doesn't. They just happen to be Japanese cartoons. We don't have to marginalize everything so much.
Exactly.
And even to that extent, it's like, oh, anime's dying. Oh, wait, why is Adult Swim still running anime then? If it's dying.
Or what
So
about
yeah.
that? Or what about that big anime network that Viz is launching? Even if it's only PS3 only at the moment, but there's
And the
that.
Funimation channel.
Yeah,
And even
There's
the Anime Network to a certain degree. I mean, I know the Anime Network has Sentai has they have their trying to think they have their
On demand.
on
well no they
demand.
have their on demand on Comcast Time Warner, but even on Hulu they have their presence of the Anime Network on
there's
Hulu as
so
well.
much anime on Hulu.
Ridiculous amounts of anime on Hulu.
Oh, and there's Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
But let me stress, it's still important to have anime on television. And if you anime fans out there who prefer your subtitled anime, and that's good for you. I generally
And
prefer
you
subs in a
probably
lot of cases.
yeah, and you probably don't care about Toonami anyway, so
So
shut
don't
up.
don't rain on the parade. It's not for you. It's for people who are not vastly familiar with this material. It's for people who kind of need a gateway. There's a difference between praising Adult Swim for doing this and just appreciating it. And you know, adults. There's a lot of problems I have with Adult Swim. Toonami's simply not one of them. Toonami faithful, have a little faith. Have a little faith that this is the transition period, and they're gonna do awesome things as time progresses. They gotta ramp things up a little bit. You may think that all those years of Toonami being super successful means that they could just start it up full blast right away, but television has changed so much from those years. The days when Naruto was killing it in the ratings were back in 2006, was about the time Naruto was at its peak. It's been 6 years since then. Things have changed. If you put an anime on at 9 p.m. at night, it's not guaranteed to do as well as Naruto did then, especially with all of these streaming sites sapping viewers. You got to give it some time to ramp things up and for people to realize that this stuff is here. And yes, they should promote it more. I hope they do promote it more, but curb your expectations a little bit. They're trying to make this work. And if you have no appreciation for that, I guess that's your business. You don't have to reiterate it all the time everywhere you go. We get it. You're not happy. Maybe you'll be happy someday, but probably not, because you don't know what you want. You people never know what you want. And you're always changing what you want.
Every time we get what we want, people bitch.
Exactly. Bunch of people complaining all the time. And this is nothing new for Toonami. If you didn't realize it, people have been complaining about Toonami's lineup since probably ever since it started. At least since 2002.
Do you remember that time when they played nothing but Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z?
I know, that was freaking terrible. And then they took Dragon Ball Z off, those assholes.
Oh no! Oh, they're still running Dragon Ball Z. Oh, I guess I'm gonna watch it.
People, stop asking for Dragon Ball Z, please. Buy the DVDs. Support the show. Watch it on Hulu. It's free. It's dubbed.
Exactly. Yes.
Buy the
You can
Dragon
go to
boxes
Wal-
if you can, because it's way, way
Yeah.
better.
Otherwise, you really want Dragon Ball Z. You want it with the U.S. Faulkner score.
Do you know how long it would take for Dragon Ball Z to run one episode a week? 6 years. I don't know about you, but I don't want to see Dragon Ball Z on TV in 2018.
Yeah. Especially, I'm pretty.
Not without some
There are
significant
some that-
break in there.
There are some that want the Falconer. There's some that want it uncut again. And that didn't work the first time. People weren't watching during all of like Gohan's Woods episode.
Well,
stuff. So,
it did well when it was running on
Weekdays.
Was it like
but,
weekdays?
Yeah, but when they put it on once a week at a playing it uncut at 7:30, that was legit.
mm,
But when they put it on once a week, people didn't have the tolerance for the filler. And that's exactly what's going to happen if they put Dragon Ball Z on from the beginning. People are going to watch the first couple of episodes and then go, oh man, it's going to be a while before the Saiyans show up. I think I'll come back later.
mm.
You can't
And
ask
it
for an
gets
expensive
canceled.
show like Dragon Ball Z or One Piece or Naruto and then you go, I'm not going to watch these episodes.
Yeah.
Those things are so expensive. Cut them some
that's
slack.
why-
They still own Bleach. They're still getting through Bleach. And by the way, Bleach has been on for 6 years.
It's doing well.
It's still
They
doing
really
well,
should-
and that's why
they
it's
really
not going
should,
anywhere.
And it'll be on for at least another 2 years. So deal with it. I know there's people who bitch about Bleach, but it's Toonami's highest rated show right now.
It's their
So
Dragon Ball
it's-
Z. That's why we don't have Dragon Ball Z, because
Exactly.
we have Bleach. And I'm not going to say Bleach is better than Dragon Ball Z. I would never say that. But Dragon Ball Z, it's out there. You can get it. You can watch it. Dragon Ball Kai, it's out there. You can get it. If you don't know that the uncut version's way better than what's on Nicktoons, get edumacated. Go buy. Go buy. Kai needs more people to buy it. Yeah, stop asking for Dragon Ball Z, please. It's had its time. It's had its time.
But guess Dragon Ball Z is the greatest anime ever, so it should always be yeah.
Lies.
I know.
One Piece is the
I-
greatest anime ever.
I can imagine one forum's gonna be really mad at you for saying that.
I mean, for what it's worth, I'd be all for them maybe eventually way down the line airing whatever this new Dragon Ball Z movie is, if it even gets
yeah, definitely anything new. Anything new is
Yeah.
fine.
you
That
know,
special
if they ever
that
dub
put out-
some of those specials, I'd love to see, the Bardock thing or Goku and his friends.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Absolutely.
even that one they had with Raging Blast too. But I
Yeah,
don't think
Tops. As far as I can see, I bet Nicktoons would want to go after that.
Yeah, that's the other thing. As long as it's still on Nicktoons, Funimation isn't going to spoil the well by shopping Dragon Ball stuff to other networks. Not even the one that made it such a huge success. And people really need to just accept that reality. That right now, Funimation may not want to put Dragon Ball Z on another network. Kai's already on 2. And if you think Kai's going to be on a third network, well, maybe,
That's
but
just
probably
stupid.
not, so go buy the DVDs. But eventually, they're going to get another long showrunner. They always have one. They had Dragon Ball Z and then Naruto on Toonami. They had Inuyasha and now Bleach on Adult Swim. So whenever Bleach is about finished, they'll get something else. It's always how it's worked.
Maybe Hunter x Hunter? Maybe.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter would be an acceptable choice. But who knows? Maybe the show that will replace Bleach hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Doraemon. Let's have an adult version of Doraemon.
Of course, an adult version.
Give it a Shin-Chan dub.
Yeah,
Genius.
that I would watch that.
I would watch that. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't watch Dragon Ball Z if it was there, because unlike most people, I will watch pretty much any episode of Dragon Ball Z just cuz. Especially if it's on once a week and it's not much of a commitment. I would probably, if I was interested in seeing the whole thing again, would find other means of doing so, like DVDs or Hulu. But, Dragon Ball Z's Dragon Ball Z, and I like it. So, trust me, I still like Dragon Ball Z. It's just not a good idea for this Toonami. Not right now.
Yeah, they should really focus whatever money they have into like shorter series.
New shows and maybe stuff like Outlaw Star or a Gundam or Tenchi. Something shorter. They really should steer clear of the really long shows because it stagnates the block.
Yeah,
It's like Sketch said. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. Give it some time. It took them over a year before Dragon Ball Z showed up on the original Toonami. Maybe it'll take that long for Dragon Ball Z to show up on this one.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, Sketch, and this might be an unpopular opinion. In fact, it probably is with some people, but I'm honestly glad at this point that the block was canceled in 2008 because we're getting this now, and I don't know if we would have been getting something like this if we might still be getting Tom 4 with mediocre shows or something.
That's a very good point. We have no. There's so many things that could have happened.
Imagine if we got a Tom 5 and he turned into a train.
He's a transformer. It makes perfect sense.
Choo choo, welcome aboard the Absolution.
And then you have Peter Cullen in the promos is like, Hasbro's gonna sue.
I think honestly the worst thing would be like if Toonami was still a weekday block and it was airing stuff like Bakugan and Beyblade and whatever the heck else Cartoon Network actually has that's in.
Yeah, I don't know.
know.
There would have been some good shows on there for sure, but it's hard to say exactly what would have happened, and I'm kind of fearful to think of how bad it possibly could have gotten as Cartoon Network's management changed.
You
I
never
don't
know,
want to
though.
know what the current Cartoon Network management would do with Toonami.
I just
Honestly.
want Cartoon Network.
Cancel it is what they would do. Which is
That's true.
unfortunate.
I just want Cartoon Network management to, be something along the lines of what it was before the whole Aqua Teen Hunger Force scare.
Yeah.
I mean, the way
Yeah.
the way it is now, I guess. I mean, Cartoon Network doing fine. The ratings have gone up, but I mean, they were doing pretty good before. I mean, at least at some point before then, they were always doing pretty good. They just never beat Nickelodeon or Disney.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, Cartoon Network overall is doing well. Right now, it's doing great against Nick because of the DirecTV thing. But they've been gaining on Nick a lot. Nick has been losing a lot of viewers in recent times, and Disney's just towering over everybody, which is crazy. But Cartoon Network has had quite a few victories lately, and I feel like they've really improved their original series output. It's just too bad that they don't give more love to action shows. That's really my only gripe with Cartoon Network.
And also sometimes they lose interest in good shows regardless of comedy and action, and then they just kind of
Mhm.
cancel them for no good reason.
Yeah, it's really too bad. They're just a little too quick on the trigger button. I'm amazed that Adventure Time and regular show have gotten to last as long as they have. But it's probably
Yeah.
because they know better than to cancel a success.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think if maybe in terms of the pitch of the promo for seeing old stuff like DBZ or even Outlaw Star and some of that stuff, think back to 2002 when they brought back Thundercats. Be the great pitch. Just kind of quote it from that promo. It's been a long time coming, but OG Toonami's back on the air. So otherwise, guys, keep your fingers crossed if you want some of that old stuff back. And otherwise, if you want the block to improve, keep watching. If anything, I'd say do what Steve Bloom says. Do what even I think DeMarco. Well, I don't know if DeMarco's really suggested it, but I mean, if you really care, if you guys really want to see certain stuff on Toonami, I mean, send your feedback to Cartoon Network, William Street, and so forth.
And that doesn't mean just tweet to Jason because he will get annoyed.
And it definitely doesn't mean posting rants in YouTube videos that they'll never see.
Yeah, that too.
You're talking to a brick wall.
If anything, send your feedback. The Cartoon Network Adult Swim feedback section. Tweet at Adult Swim and Cartoon Network. I mean, like I said, if you want certain shows, not just Naruto, not just DBZ. If you want, hell, I'll probably tweet and suggest it. I want to see Chico and Hachi. I want to see some of those. I want to see new stuff. I mean, if so, guys, just keep supporting it.
Michiko and Hachi, please, 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 please,
Yeah.
please, please, please.
Sketch, since you're involved, do you know if they ever take feedback off their official boards for shows or?
I'm gonna say no. I don't actually know.
Yeah.
I'm just a helper. But I'm gonna say they put the suggestion board up so people have somewhere that they can suggest shows and they don't spam the other boards with suggestions.
Yeah.
There's definitely I believe I heard that from I don't know, this was even before I was a helper, but I heard they get a general consensus they get a general idea of the kinds of shows people want. They're not necessarily going to get those shows in particular, but they'll look at the kinds of shows people are asking for and see what they can get. It's not a simple process to get shows, and they're very expensive, all things considered, though cheaper than producing new stuff, at least in most cases. One last thing regarding Cartoon Network. I really hope that someday somebody comes along that really likes action cartoons again and they build up an action block. It doesn't have to be Toonami. In fact, it shouldn't be Toonami because
No, it should.
they should strive to do new and better things. And the very idea that something could be better than Toonami may be heresy to those of you out there, but we should always be hoping for something that's better not for something that's worse.
Yeah, and as such, it won't be William Street running the show. That's why, Toonami is William Street's baby.
Yeah.
That's why it should stay.
It's
on Adult
coming
Swim.
home.
And you know what, Sketch? If this Toonami just, it's pretty much capturing the original Adult Swim action Saturday nights and possibly pushing the edge beyond that, which in my opinion is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And not just that, and like I said, it's even more so than capturing Adult Swim action Saturdays. It's reclaiming what the original Midnight Run had originally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gundam Wing Uncut, etc.
Exactly. There's really not a substantial... There's like no difference between Toonami the Midnight Run and this Toonami. I don't know why people don't see that. They say the shows are too dark or they're too philosophical or what have they played Big O, they played Cyborg 009, they played Dot Hack,
Outlaw Star. Let's not forget some of the even deeper, heavy hitting, like just in terms of emotional substantialness of some of those other Gundam shows. 0080.
The Gundam shows in particular, my gosh, those shows were downright depressing at times.
Yeah. 8th MS Team, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
So, I think we basically displayed why Adult Swim should be showing Toonami and why there's really no other option. It's coming home. William Street made it. William Street's getting it back. And William Street, regardless of what some people say, is treating it really well. I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to the next couple months. See what happens. I'm enjoying the new stuff every week, and what was that, Soul?
I was like, that's right. That's exactly right.
Well, John is about to die of heat exhaustion, and the rest of us are feeling pretty hot as well. So we're going to wrap this thing up. I'd like to thank Firecrouch.
As always, a pleasure.
Duelist.
Glad to be here.
Soul.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
And John Paul.
And I get lost again.
Well, nobody else is complaining about the heat.
Well, it is a bit warm, I will say that.
Oh, now you're going to get last. I'm a
Alright, guys. See ya.
Bye.
My thoughts on this is Adult Swim were the ones that made it possible in the first place. Well, William Street were the ones that made it possible in the first place. William Street were the people that brought us Toonami in the beginning. Mike Lazo told Sean Atkins to rebrand the oh my freaking phone. You gotta be kidding me.
Do we have a caller on the line, Sketch?
Do we have a caller on the line? Hey.
Toonami Absolution Sessions.
Huh? No, dude. I'm not gonna join you for Denny's. I'm recording a podcast right now. Yeah, and I don't have any money, as you know.
Denny's.
Nope, I'm not gonna forget the Red Green show tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye.
Red. What's not to get off subject? What is the Red Green show?
The Red Green
sketch?
Show? That is an
Yeah.
amazing show. Look it up.
Okay.
It's,
Well-
Toonami
it's like a
Absolution
variety
Sessions.
show.
Sponsored by Denny's.
I want to try Denny's.
You want to try
It's okay.
Denny's? Well, maybe the Denny's in your area are better than the ones that are in my area, because I always regret going to Denny's. Like, yeah.
The Toonami lineup, it's a grand slam.
God damn it.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Man, that's gonna be some great outtakes. You have no idea how bad the Deke series of G.I. Joe can be. It is intolerably bad.
Now, was that the one they played on Midnight Run at one point?
No. That was the original Sunbow series that started the craze. And that was not great, in my opinion, but it was considerably better than this
Do they
sequel
still
to it.
air like Transformers G1 and that series on the hub?
Yeah, they still
Late night?
play G1 and A Real American Hero at late at night. I like how they've expanded Haboom into weekday afternoons.
Yep.
And I love that Mark Hamill's the announcer on those bumpers.
Huh.
Haboom!
Makes you think of another certain block.
No. You know what would have been a dick move? Getting Peter Cullen to do it.
Oh my! They should have, dude. They probably will. Eventually do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. Now back to Batman on Haboom.
No
Oh.
offense, you guys. Can we start this?
Yes, by all means. Let us begin.
Thank you. No offense.
Wait, is everybody here?
I'm
Sam.
here.
Okay.
Sam's here.
Here.
Duelist is here.
Here.
Soul is here. John is here. I am not here, but I will be.
Can you guys hear my dog?
Not right now.
Not so much.
If it gets bad, you can just like click on mute for like
yeah,
until he
I
calms
also
down.
I can just easily click my headset too, so
Mhm.
it's
Is your
convenient.
fan still on, John? Nope,
No.
you just turned it off. Wait, where is that? Duelist?
I will check something.
Unless that's my computer fan, which I can't do anything about.
No, it's Duelist.
Okay.
Just when he muted his mic, it went away.
Goddamn duelist.
Okay, like I said, if it was my computer, there was nothing I could do about that.
Yeah, I
so.
can't do anything
Better.
about my computer's fan either.
Better now?
Not tremendously so.
That's odd.
No, I can still hear it pretty well.
That's weird because I turned like everything off. Give me a second.
Oh yeah, I can hear it now. Yeah, I can hear it as well. I had to kind of push the headset really close to my ears.
I can hear everything because I have earbuds.
Oh, that would make sense.
Like, there's always a substantial difference when he mutes his mic.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh well. Nothing you can do.
Yeah, like I said, like please hurry up, Duelist. Oh, it is
We're
overnight.
gonna try to keep this a half hour or less.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's getting hot in here too.
It's like it's around 90 degrees in the house, so yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about as high as it is around here too.
It's cooler outside, but because we're behind brick, we can't do anything about that.
How about now?
It's good enough. Okay, so everybody's here.
Yep.
All right then. Here we go.
Oh god.
Where's the echo coming from?
It was Duelist.
Okay. Okay, we're good.
What is with duelist?
is going on? I thought my dog barking would be the main issue.
We're just gonna have to exclude him then, or something, man.
No, it should be fine now. I just had to put some shit in place.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, a monster's gonna come out from under his.
How's it
It's
now? 'Cause
war
now
time.
guys,
You're good.
You're good.
everything's set, and for a second I had my headphones unplugged, so that might have been it.
Yeah.
It sounded like somebody slammed something. That's what it
Well, I
sounded
was
like.
putting a chair in place.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, now I'm.
I think I
hearing
was
something
purposely
weird.
being.
What is that?
I think that's my dog.
No, it's not a dog sound. It's like a.
Oh! That is now literally the best I can do. So if there's any background noise, I'm pretty sure it can't be from me at this point. Because I'm in a, like, secluded porch.
Let me sketch. I'll mute my mic and see if you can hear it then.
I'm still hearing it.
Okay, that's not me.
No, it's.
I'll mute myself.
Oh, it's Sam.
Dun dun dun. Okay, is it gone?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're good now.
Okay.
We're definitely good now. We're gonna start right
Okay.
after these messages.
Do you need weight loss pills? Well, if
Would
you
you
do,
like-
you've come to the right person. Sketch will offer you weight loss pills for only $9,999 plus tax.
We also sell douchebags.
And penis enlargement,
Yes.
starring Smiling Bob of Enzyte.
Dude.
I love
This
that
is
Adult
Bob.
Swim has that music. I'm totally gonna use that music now.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Okay. Oh, that was a good fart. All right. All right.
Fake outtakes.
Fake nothing.
Okay, I think I'm gonna burp. Hold on. No. Okay, good.
Remember the
Go on.
last time you burped during the recording? That was epic. That was epic.
Well, Sam kept burping. I forget if it was today or yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Mm.
All right.
Let's do it,
All right.
guys.
My thoughts on this are William Street's the whole reason that we ever had Toonami. Mike Lazo hired Sean Atkins to rebrand their afternoon action block. And let me stress that they rebranded an existing afternoon action block to make Toonami. Huh. That sounds.
Say what?
Super Avengers. Was it called Super Adventures at that point? I thought Super Adventures was the one before.
Wasn't it like Power Zone
Power
or something?
Zone. It was either Super
Power
Adventures or
Zone?
Power Zone.
Sure,
I didn't have
yeah,
Cartoon
one
Network
of the
back
other.
then, so
I did, but I do not remember what it was.
it was pretty forgettable. Clearly, not Toonami
Oh, I
wasn't
mean-
forgettable. The rest of them were.
Well, keep in mind how young I was too. So.
Okay, that's fair. But I remember the Disney afternoon vividly.
Same. Same.
Oh, Disney Afternoon.
I remember Vault Disney.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
That was on late.
Walt
I
Disney.
remember those claymation footage that they did for.
Oh my gosh, tangents! Okay. I'm gonna redo this one more time. One
we don't wanna
more
talk-
thing. Okay, stop.
We don't want to talk too much about Toonami airing on Disney and playing nothing but tailspin marathons.
Hey, they used the Toonami font for some like Kim Possible marathon. The subatomic tsunami font. And I
see.
wonder if they got that from Digital Arsenal.
Be
Probably.
funny.
You'd have to figure that it was, unless that font actually exists on a professional level and people just don't know about it.
I feel like if it existed and it had that name is really similar for it to.
No, subatomic
I don't know.
tsunami was made by somebody, and I think maybe even Tyler made it. I'm not entirely sure, but he posted it on Digital Arsenal.
Mm.
Somebody made it. It's not official, so it's imperfect to an extent. Maybe I should ask DeMarco about that. What the name of that font is,
Okay.
and the name of the other fonts for that matter. uh,
I always like the Gothic font
that's hard
myself.
to get.
Yeah.
You can
The
get
Gothic was
similar
cool.
ones, but-
I still think I liked that like more old school Toonami logo that was kind of like all italic. I don't
SF
know what
Trans
it
Robotics. That's
sounds about right.
It's Transformers font, which is
Okay.
hilarious.
Peter
Considering they
Let's
had
finish
that
this.
long before Transformers. Well, no, I guess Beast Wars played for a week.
Let's
Tangents. They're so delicious.
I am
Tangents.
roasting. I'm roasting.
Tangentarines.
Come on, we don't want John to die. Let's get the,
Yeah, we
the show on the road.
We don't want John to die from heat exhaustion. That would not be good.
Time
I'm
to get the
having a
show on the road.
stroke. Ugh.
Okay.
Can someone fan him, please?
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Okay.